Hi guys, Eric Paffey here. It is Tuesday. We're talking about Wednesday's complimentary selection. If you watched the last video we did with Big Al, we were up 138 units, but let's drill down to the NBA. Right now in the NBA, Al has only released a handful of games. As he said, the first 2 weeks is the most profitable, and we're not even a full week into the NBA yet. He is currently 8-5 straight up. So that means if you've bet every game straight up, you're 8-5 straight up. But on units, you're up 22 units. So think about that, guys. I got my calculator here. I know Al doesn't need one, but sometimes my brain stops working. You're a dime better. You won $8,000. You lost $5,500 at 110 odds. You're up $2,500. Now wrap your head around that. The same games are available at pickdogs.com. You can just purchase them right on the website, but you don't get the ratings. The same games, you've won 46 units, you've lost 24 units. That means you're up 22 units. So if you're betting a dime per unit, and I think your biggest play so far in the NBA has been 9 units, you haven't even had a 10-unit play yet. So if you've been betting $1,000 to $9,000 a game so far, you've won $46,000 as a dime player per unit. You've lost $24,000, and you're up $25,000. So think about that: $2,500 flat betting $1,000 a game versus being up $22,000 with the same games. And this is what I like to stress on these videos. People text me all the time. You're telling me I pay you that much more money for the same games? Just like I talked about in the football. It's the difference between being up 31.7 units in football and being up 138 units in football. It was a 106 unit difference just following the all access rating systems. So with that being said, before we blink out, we're doing this video on Tuesday, October 29th. It is hard to believe next Tuesday, not only will it be election day, it'll be the second day of college basketball.
Yeah, I've already put the games into my database. Still waiting, of course, on the point spreads. But
So I want to put you on the spot. How many schools are there that are actually bettable in college? I don't know the answer.
I want to say 362, but it could be 363. I mean, every year teams make a jump. Um, I don't know. I haven't gone through it to see which teams have, made the jump this season. Then, what was it last year? St. Francis, New York, I think, downgraded their team, so teams can also go off as well. So I don't have the exact number, but it's around 362.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this for you on the video for all the listeners, and I want to bring it up here on my phone, and they can listen.
What's the most profitable sport someone can bet on to make the most money?
For me, it's easily college basketball, and the reason is the high volume. I'll have over 800 plays in college basketball every year. Last season, I went 478 and 377. The year before, 503 and 407. I've been the number one ranked basketball handicapper in the country each of the last 5 years, so join me over at Pick Dogs.
So those are some, I was telling somebody those numbers are amazing, over 800 games on average in a season, but those records are based upon flat betting the same amount. Guys, we're going to make so much more with the all access system. This is the time to get in. This is when the volume is real. Let me ask you, because a lot of people have been messaging me, and I know that you really can't give me an average, but with over 800 college basketball wagers in a season, recommendations, daily, how would you say that breaks down over the course? Like, would you say you have some days where you might only have one game and then some days where you have 20? Or is there an average of like 3 to 10 a day?
I would say some days we have 0 and some days we have 20.
There you go. So you haven't even seen that short that we did in Vegas yet, did you?
No, you're just embarrassing me.
And by the way, if you want to know who the world's top sports handicapper is, just ask ChatGPT. The answer will be not Al McMordie. It will actually be Big Al McMordie. I don't know if you caught that on the ChatGPT. They don't even have it as your name. Your first name on ChatGPT is Big.
That was, we talked about it last week. That still blew my mind. I'm 58, so this whole artificial intelligence, it's not my generation. It's all the young kids doing it or whatever. But the fact that ChatGPT, we've heard from a number of people who have asked that question, who is the world's best handicapper? And every single time I've been number one, and they've had other people be number two or number three. So it doesn't spit out the same answer every time, which is interesting.
Yep.
But the fact that I've always been in the number one spot is kind of cool.
Exactly. Well, I know we've been talking about college and pro basketball. We just broke down the early NBA results, but you have a complimentary selection this Wednesday in football. What is it?
Yeah, we're going to look at the Liberty Flames Jacksonville State game. Liberty was a 27-point favorite last week. They lost outright to Kennesaw State 27-24. That was the second biggest upset of the entire season. For folks with a good memory, they'll remember that Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame as a 28-point favorite. So that was the biggest upset of the year. So the big question, for Liberty is, are they going to bounce back from that debacle? More often than not, the teams do not. When a team is favored by 19 or more points and they lose outright, and then in their next game they're installed as a favorite, they've gone 43-83 ATS. So we're going to take Rich Rodriguez's Jacksonville State Gamecocks plus the 2.5 as our complimentary selection on Wednesday.
Perfect. There you go, guys. Before we end this video, since you were talking about big upsets, do you remember what Michigan was favored against Appalachian State?
That was an off-the-board game at the time. It was, it was a FBS versus an FCS school. So it's not in my database because I only put in the odds for FBS versus FBS. But I think if I had to guess, it was probably around 23.5, but that's just complete. It could have been more. I'd have to Google it to find out.
There you go, guys.
Appalachian State was a decent team then.
Yeah. I get it. I just remember that that was a big upset. If you want to join Big Al's All Access, you want to take advantage of what we've been talking about here, and you're a larger bettor, send me a text message to join 702-769-0404. A lot of people have been messaging me about a supposed deal. We had a deal for a 1-week trial offer a few weeks ago. I'm still working on Big Al. We'll see what we can do. Good day and good luck.